What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. This is whiskey review number 33. I think I said in my last review that it was 33, but it's actually 33 right now. Today I have for you the Alberta Premium 30-year-old. I'm going to pour this off and then talk a little bit about it. Alright. As you can see, I have my Game of Thrones picture on view today, just because it is Game of Thrones weekend. Season 6 starts tomorrow. We get to find out whether or not Jon Snow is still alive, but I digress. Alright, Alberta Premium 30-year-old. So this came out in 2011. It was originally just released in Calgary, Alberta, where it is distilled. It's distilled by Alberta Distillers Limited. Okay, so it's homegrown, homemade. I believe the the rye grain is actually produced there as well. So they're using all home products. Now, I'll tell you what my beef is, but all that other stuff is great. I love that. I love when they use home products. I love that they use, you know, keep the economy within the area of the distillery going, you know. But two issues I have is it's chill filtered. Actually, three issues I have. Chill filtered, there's added color, and it's dropped down to 40%. Okay, the Canadian Club 30-year-old was also dropped down to 40%, but I think when it's corn whiskey or barley whiskey involved, it tends to have a fuller body to the whiskey, whereas this is not a blend. This is 100% rye grain. Okay, it's actually the oldest 100% rye grain ever produced as at the time. So in 2011, I believe it's still the oldest, unless they're aging a whole bunch more. They might go up to 35 years. Who knows? They had the 25-year release 5 years prior to this one, so it's possible. Okay, we're just nearing that range now. Maybe, like, actually this year would be 2016. They could easily release, if they still had the casks that were bottled or barreled at the same time, they could easily release a 35-year-old. There was 700 barrels used for the Alberta Premium 30-year-old. So it wasn't something they were going to continue to do. It was a one-time release. They used the 700 barrels, whatever amount of bottles they got out of that, they sold, and it sold quick. And the reason for that is, like I said earlier, it was $50. $50 for a 30-year-old whiskey. That is obscene, in my opinion. I've never heard of anything like that before. I was actually, part of me was a little bit disappointed that it was only $50 when it came out, because it indicated to me two things. Number one, it doesn't stack up to the $300 whiskey range, and number two, Canadian whiskey is still unfortunately not a head player in the whiskey game. They are doing really well. It's picking up steam again, but in 2011 it just wasn't. It wasn't top notch yet, and I don't think it is going to be for a long time unless certain things are changed. Key things, as I've always stated: non-chill filtration, no added color, listing what's in the bottle without that leeway that they have of that 9% where they can add anything like sherry wine or juice or anything like that. That rule's got to go in order for Canadian whiskey to pick up in the whiskey world market, in my opinion. My humble opinion. I'm not a professional. I drink whiskey for pleasure. I don't drink lots of whiskey, in the sense that I'm not drinking it to get drunk ever. I'm drinking it to enjoy, and I buy quality stuff because I only drink quality stuff. And if I'm given something that's not so quality, then I will never buy it. My brother actually lent me this bottle. When it came out, we bought a bunch of them, thinking, you know, it's a 30-year-old whiskey at $50. Sounds like a great deal, and it was, and it is. It's for $50. It's definitely worth $50, okay? It's worth more than $50 in my opinion, but it's a 30-year-old whiskey and it should be better than it is. So thank you, Anthony, for lending me this bottle. I actually, before I started whisking the 6, I sold my last bottle of this to someone. I believe it was for $100, $100 or $150, can't remember exactly, but so it wasn't a huge increase in value considering it's been already 5 years or so, okay? Whereas with certain scotch, you can buy something for $100, $80, and in the next few years see it skyrocket to $200, okay? Anyway, on the nose. Okay, you're hit with caramel right away, and it's sweet. It's sweet, sweet caramel. There's apple in there, okay? It's not sour apple. You can tell there's some age to this, okay? You can tell by the nose that there's age to this, okay? It's not very oaky. I don't get a ton of oak. It's 30 years old. I should be getting a lot more oak than I'm getting. That apple caramel smell dominates the nose. It dominates. Okay, despite it not being a very heavy-bodied whiskey, the legs on it are pretty solid. Okay, it sticks to the glass quite well. Okay, I'm not sure if it's barreled in virgin oak barrels, but it's possible. I know they're charred barrels, but it's possible that they're virgin oak because I'm not picking up a ton of the ex-bourbon cask type barrel notes. That being said, I just picked up a little bit of vanilla, so it's possible that there is ex-bourbon casks involved in this. All right, on the palate. It's sweet. You get that apple, you get that caramel. You get some rye bread, not a ton. Considering it's 100% rye, you'd think you would get more, but I'm not getting a ton here. Okay, so I'm gonna try this again. Alright, this is not a blend. This is 100% rye whiskey, but I'm picking up a touch of what would be like a corn whiskey in this. So what that does tell me is that it is possible that there is this whiskey was aged in ex-bourbon barrels, okay? Like I've said earlier in previous reviews, bourbon is 51% at minimum corn whiskey. Okay, obviously if these are ex-bourbon casks, then it's possible that you could pick up some corn in this. I'm not saying it's overwhelming corn. It's very, very subtle, but I feel like it's there. I'm gonna give it another shot and I'll let you know. I feel like it's there. You get that butteriness of a corn whiskey, but I could be wrong. It could be just I've never had a 30-year-old 100% rye before, and that's what's throwing me off, okay? Because rye might take a little longer to age than corn does, than barley does. So maybe that's what I'm picking up. All of the grain whiskeys have similarities. They all have differences, of course, but it's possible that this is aged in ex-bourbon barrels based on the slightly peaches and cream corn that I'm picking up, okay? I could be wrong. Don't shoot me if I am. Okay, so if you can pick up a bottle of this, I highly recommend you grab it. You're not gonna probably get it for $50. It's probably gonna be much higher than that now. I would say it's worth at least $150. But there's many people out there that want to collect Canadian whiskey that might be willing to pay upwards of $200, maybe even more. So Canadian whiskey doesn't tend to increase in value as quickly as Scotch will or Japanese whiskey will, but I have over the years made some money on collecting various Canadian whiskeys, so it's very possible that you can get decent coin for this. Okay, overall I would give it a B+. It's good stuff. It's 30 years old. You could tell it's older. I wouldn't pin this to be a 30-year-old. I would say that tastes, the CC 30-year-old tastes way more like a 30-year-old than this does. I'm gonna do a head-to-head comparison in the future, so that's why I kind of wanted to get this review out of the way today, because that'll probably be coming up next week in addition to my review of the Ben Riach 12-year-old sherry. Okay, if you like the video, please subscribe, share with a friend, add me to Instagram. I'm at whiskey_in_the6, 6 the number, not the word, or on Twitter at whiskey_in_the_6. Cheers, guys.